Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet.
Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into a time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Well, we're into an all-comedy weekend here, it looks like, with episodes of Groucho Marx and You Bet Your Life, Fred Allen, Abbott and Costello. We'll also have Fibber McGee and Molly, and Lum and Abner coming up on this Saturday edition. This is the 20th day of January, routinely known as Inauguration Day. This is 346 days remaining until we get to 2025, in which the next inauguration should take place. Hong Kong Island, occupied by the British on this date in 1841. L.A. Thompson patented the roller coaster on this date in 1885. In 1887, the Senate allowed the Navy to lease Pearl Harbor as a naval base. At the YMCA in Springfield, Massachusetts on this date in 1892, the first basketball game was played. The American Civil Liberties Union, founded on this date in 1920, and in Old Arizona on this date in 1929, the first full-length talking film filmed outdoors was released. In 1936, Edward VIII became King of the UK. In 1937, President Roosevelt inaugurated for his second term as President of the United States.
Wealth of national resources. Its 130 million people are at peace among themselves. They are making their country a good neighbor among the nations. But here is the challenge to our democracy. In this nation, I see tens of millions of its citizens, a substantial part of its whole population, who at this very moment are denied the greater part of what the very lowest standards of today call the necessities of life. I see 1/3 of a nation ill-housed, ill-clad, ill-nourished. The test of our progress is not whether we add more to the abundance of those who have much. It is whether we provide enough for those who have too little.
Now, 1937 was the first inauguration scheduled on January 20th, following adoption of the 20th Amendment to the Constitution. Previous inauguration scheduled on March 4th. In 1945, Hungary ended its involvement in the Second World War, agreeing to an armistice with the Allies. In 1953, General Dwight Eisenhower sworn in for his first term as president, and 34th President of the United States. In 1961, President John Fitzgerald Kennedy, then still a senator, inaugurated as the youngest man and first ever Roman Catholic to become elected to the presidency of the United States. Supreme Court Chief Justice Earl Warren administered the oath of office of president. The newly inaugurated president delivered one of his one and only inauguration address of 1,364 words, beginning at 12:51 Eastern Time, lasting only 13 minutes and 59 seconds from first word to last, not including the resultant applause, making it the fourth shortest inauguration address ever delivered. Heard in that address were these words:
"All this will not be finished in the first 100 days, nor will it be finished in the first 1,000 days, nor in the life of this administration, nor even perhaps in our lifetime on this planet. But let us begin. The energy, the faith, the devotion which we bring to this endeavor will light our country and all who serve it. And the glow from that fire can truly light the world. And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country."
Words that have been forgotten by too many today. President Kennedy on this date in 1961. In 1969, President Nixon sworn in as the 37th President of the United States.
We find ourselves rich in goods but ragged in spirit, reaching with magnificent precision for the moon, but falling into raucous discord on earth.
Very true words. In 1977, Jimmy Carter sworn in as the 39th President of the United States. On this date in 1981, Iran released 52 American hostages 20 minutes after Ronald Reagan was inaugurated as president.
I, Ronald Reagan, do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States.
that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States.
And will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend.
Preserve, protect, and defend.
The Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the United States.
So help you God.
So help me God.
May I congratulate you, sir.
We have now reached an agreement with Iran which will result, I believe, in the freedom of our American hostages.
The planes bearing our prisoners left Iranian airspace and are now free of Iran.
Taking place on this date in 1981. In 1986, Martin Luther King Jr. Day celebrated as a federal holiday for the first time. In 1989, George Herbert Walker Bush sworn in as the 41st President of the United States.
America is never wholly herself unless she is engaged in high moral principle. We as a people have such a purpose today. It is to make kinder the face of the nation and gentler the face of the world.
4 years later, Bill Clinton would be sworn in as the 42nd President of the United States.
We need a new government for a new century. Humble enough not to try to solve all our problems for us, but strong enough to give us the tools to solve our problems for ourselves.
We move from 1993 to 2001, where George W. Bush sworn in as the 43rd president, Barack Obama sworn in as the 44th president and the first African-American president on this date in 2009, Donald Trump sworn in 2017 as the 45th president, and the oldest president ever inaugurated, Joe Biden, as the 46th president of the United States 3 years ago today. In 78, he became the oldest person ever inaugurated. Kamala Harris became the first female vice president of the United States. Among those passing away on this date in history, disc jockey Alan Freed, Johnny Weissmuller, actress Barbara Stanwyck, musician Jerry Mulligan, the great African-American wrestler Bobo Brazil, Carol Burnett's daughter Carrie Hamilton, caricaturist Al Hirschfeld, from All in the Family, Laugh-In, the Dukes of Hazzard, fine character actress Nedra Volz. She always she was an old lady, even when she was still not that old. Singer-songwriter Etta James, Meatloaf, and Audrey Hepburn.
Holly? I'm not Holly. I'm not Lula May either. I don't know who I am. I'm like Cat here. We're a couple of no-name slobs. We belong to nobody, and nobody belongs to us. We don't even belong to each other.
From Breakfast at Tiffany's, Audrey Hepburn passing away on this date in history. Among those born on this date, Nathan Birnbaum, George Burns, born on this date. Also, DeForest Kelley, Bones in the original Star Trek. Singer Slim Whitman, actress Patricia Arquette, actor Artie Johnson, very interesting. Roller derby queen Joan Weston, and Dorothy Provine, all born on this date in history.
Hi, this is Jeff Foxworthy. It is now time for the birthday announcements. The following people are now officially older than dirt.
I guess you could say that definitely about Ray Anthony, the band leader, trumpeter, is 102 years old today. Astronaut Buzz Aldrin is 94. The fourth Doctor Who, Tom Baker, is 90. Kiss's Paul Stanley is 72. Comedian Bill Maher is 68. Lorenzo Lamas, 66. Country's John Michael Montgomery is 59. Dwight in the television show The Office, Rainn Wilson, is 58. From Clueless, Stacey Dash is 57. Reporter actress Melissa Rivers, the daughter of Joan Rivers, 56. From Comedy Central's Reno 911, Carrie Kenny Silver is 54. From Scream and Riverdale, Skeet Ulrich is 54. From WWE's The OC, also known in New Japan Pro Wrestling's Bullet Club, Carl Anderson is 44. Country singer Brantley Gilbert is 39. And actor Evan Peters is 37. Those just a few of the people who celebrate the 20th day of January as their birthday. And if this happens to be your birthday,
happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
we've got comedy ahead as we start off this comedy weekend here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox with an episode of Groucho Marx and You Bet Your Life. That'll be coming up next from 74 years ago. But first, these important messages.
And now, a brief reminder from Uncle Sam that to the millions of American men and women overseas, nothing is more important than mail from home. Write often. Make your letters cheerful. And be sure to use V-mail. V-mail is private, speedy, safer, and it helps to lighten the burden of delivery.
Now, this is interesting. I kind of knew what V-mail was, but I didn't know all about it. It appears that during the Second World War, what they would do, you would write a letter, a V-mail letter. It would be censored, making sure there was no improper information in there, state secrets or anything like that, copied to film, and then printed back onto paper upon arrival at its destination based on the early British airgraph process. It was on small letter sheets, 17.8 by 7 by 9 and an 1/8 inch. It would go through mail sensors before being photographed and transported as thumbnail-size images in negative microfilm. Upon arrival to the destination, the negatives would be printed. The final print 60% of the original document size, so it would be 4 1/4 by 5 1/4 inches. According to the National Postal Museum, V-mail ensured that thousands of tons of shipping space could be reserved for war materials. The 37 mail bags required to carry 150,000 one-page letters could be replaced by a single mail sack. In addition to postal censorship, V-mail also deterred espionage communication by foiling the use of invisible ink, microdots, and microprinting, none of which could be reproduced in a photocopy of that age. So there's some information for you that I didn't know, and now you know. It's always interesting to find out this stuff. Now, let's find out what today's secret word is as we go to an episode of You Bet Your Life, starring Groucho Marx, 74 years ago today, January 20th, 1950.
Ladies and gentlemen, the secret word tonight is hair. H-A-I-R.
Really?
You bet your life. The more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers of America present Groucho Marx in You Bet Your Life, the comedy quiz series produced and transcribed from Hollywood. And here he is, the one, the only...
Groucho! That's me, Groucho Marx. Thank you. Well, here I am again with $1,000 for one of our couples. Fenneman, who's supposed to try for it?
Well, a bachelor and a spinster, Groucho, selected by our studio audience just before we went on the air. And here they are. Miss Florence Fairbank and Mr. Max Willens. Come over here and meet Groucho Marx.
Well, let's see this. Bachelor and a spinster, eh? Miss Florence Fairbank, eh? A mighty fine-looking woman, Florence. And Max Willens, that's you, I presume, eh? Welcome, youngsters, for the Welcome, youngsters, for the DeSoto Plymouth Dealers of America. And if you say the secret word, you'll divide $100 in cash. It's a common word, something you always have with you. Miss Fairbanks, where are you from?
Richmond, Virginia.
Richmond, Virginia. Where
FFV.
FFV, what does that mean?
First family of Virginia.
Oh, and who was the second family, do you remember? Now, what sort of work do you do, Miss Fairbanks?
I'm a hostess.
I'll call you Florence, huh?
Oh, yes, do. I'm a hostess.
You're a hostess?
Yes.
Where?
In one of your exclusive tea rooms.
Oh, well, I'm sure it's exclusive if you're the hostess, Florence. And Max, you're a bachelor, eh?
Yes, sir.
Where are you from, Max?
I was born in Vienna.
Mm-hmm. You got a very big role on you? How long have you been living in California?
Oh, about 10 years now.
10 years, eh?
Yes, sir.
You like it here?
I love it.
You miss Vienna?
No, I don't.
No. Did you miss it when you were there?
On the contrary, I missed it. I never missed it. In fact, I left it because I wanted to miss it.
I see. Well, you make an attractive couple, and as long as you're both in California, you might just as well get married. Max, did you say your name is Max?
Yes, sir.
Max, yeah. Is it easier to find a wife here than your hometown?
No, I think it's easier to find them over there, but it's harder to get rid of them here.
That's a very logical answer. Huh? Max, do you have a nickname, or should I just keep calling you Max?
Well, they call me Frenchie most of the time.
Frenchie? That's because you're from Vienna?
That's right.
Why do they call you Frenchie?
I don't know, my accent. Everybody thinks I'm a Frenchman. I can't speak French. I don't know any French.
What sort of work do you do, Max?
I'm a cab driver.
Mm-hmm. What kind of taxi cab do you drive?
A yellow cab.
There's nothing yellow about the cabs in this town. They'll attack anybody. Huh? Now tell us something about driving a cab. Have you ever had any unusual experiences on your job?
Well, to tell you the truth, almost every experience a cab driver has is unusual. But I could tell you a very interesting story.
Well, I wish you would. I haven't told you any. I don't know.
It happened to me while I was overseas in the OSS.
Mm-hmm.
I was living in a hotel there in Mayfair, and...
you were really putting it on over there, huh?
Yeah, I was a major.
Oh.
Made a lot of money. So, it was during the time of the bus bombs and those V2s. It was awful. So one Sunday morning I was standing in front of the mirror shaving, when all of a sudden the alert sounded, woo, woo, you know. So, 2 minutes
Doesn't
later...
sound like an alert to me, eh?
2 minutes later,
Sounds like a dame passing on the corner.
2 minutes later, the first bus bomb came right over our hotel. It was awful.
You ought to be working for Disney.
So, chambermaid came around the corner and...
Was she shaving too?
She said to me, with the typical English understatement, she said, "Aren't they a nuisance?" I was scared to death. And she said, "Aren't they a nuisance?"
Well, that's charming, I think.
I said, "For goodness sakes, ma'am, why don't you move from here to Scotland or somewhere where there aren't any bombs?" And the answer she gave me, I'll never forget. She said, "Oh, no," she said, "Mr. Hitler is not going to tell me when and where to move."
Well, that's wonderful. You know, oddly enough, that was the whole attitude of the British, and it was a great contribution to winning the war.
I should say so.
Now, let's find out something about you, too. Max, what is your age?
I'm 62.
Well, you're a very young-looking man, and I'd say you have a very honest meter. How old are you, Florence?
Oh, I'm a little younger than he is.
Are you sure your meter is as honest as his?
Would you doubt it?
No, I don't. Florence, how come a charming, attractive, intelligent, sweet girl like you hasn't married before this?
Well, I guess I just haven't found the one I was looking for, that Prince Charming. Maybe I've waited.
You waited too long, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Well, be careful when you're around Max. He'll charge you 20 cents for each 5 minutes of waiting. Max, why haven't you married?
Well, tell you the truth, I could only...
That's what we're looking for, huh?
I could only marry a woman that I...
That's what we all marry.
I could only marry a girl that I respect. And a girl that would marry me, I couldn't respect.
Max, I don't think you're being very fair to yourself.
Well...
I think you have a charming personality and you seem like a very nice fellow. Remember that the next time I get in your cab.
Thank you, sir.
Now, Florence, tell me, if you found a handsome, eligible bachelor, would you be interested?
I might be.
Look at Max. His heart's going buckety, buckety, buckety. Or maybe that's just his meter ticking. And now, in just 1 minute, you're going to play You Bet Your Life for a chance at the $1,000 question. Right now, I want you to listen carefully to what Fenneman has to say.
Throughout the country, you'll find that the DeSoto Plymouth dealers are well thought of in the communities in which they're located. They have gained the respect of their neighbors and business acquaintances by the way they run their DeSoto Plymouth dealerships. They have the old-fashioned idea of how a customer should be treated, with courtesy, fairly and squarely. And you'll find the spirit of fair play is reflected in every member of the DeSoto Plymouth organization, whether they're in the service crew, on the sales floor, or in the office. DeSoto Plymouth dealers also get their reputations because of the two superb cars which they handle. The brilliant DeSoto is one of the best engineered automobiles ever built. And it is a long, low car with beautiful lines and the most luxurious interior you can imagine. As you know, all dealers who sell DeSoto also sell Plymouth. So look for these two great names linked together. DeSoto, Plymouth.
All right, here we go. Now, let's see if you two will get a chance at the $1,000. Fenneman, explain the rules.
Well, you bet as much of your $20 as you want on each of 4 questions. And the couple that earns the most money gets a chance at the $1,000 DeSoto Plymouth question later on in the show.
Here we go. Let's see how high I can build you $20. You selected composers of operas. Here's your first question. How much of the 20 will you bet? Talk right up, kids. Into the microphone.
$10.
$10. Okay. Who composed Tristan and Isolde?
Tristan and Isolde, Richard Wagner.
Wagner is right, huh?
And they're off to a great start. They have $30.
How we ever did that and played shortstop for Pittsburgh at the same time is beyond me. How much have they got now?
$30.
$30. Remember, you're going for $1,000 tonight. Now, how much of the $30 would you bet on your second question?
25.
All right. Who composed Madame Butterfly?
Giacomo Puccini.
Puccini is right. Puccini, he not only gives you the first name, the last name, first name, everything. He's really a scholar, this man is, isn't he?
They certainly are. He certainly is.
Let's get the tenses right. Now, how much have they got?
They have
we are
55.
tensing tonight on the old How much have they got?
$55.
Stop giggling, Fenneman, will you? You're a grown man with 3 kids, huh? Here's your third question. How much of the 55 are you going to go for?
50.
50. Who composed Carmen?
George Bizet.
Bizet is right. And he was really busy when he wrote that, too.
Oh, they're climbing now.
How much have they got?
$105.
$105. Who's your last chance to beat the other couples? How much will you bet?
No. All of it. All of it.
All of it?
What do you want $5 for?
All of it. All right, you ready?
Yeah, I better make it easy.
$105?
Yeah.
Here we go. Who composed Rigoletto?
Giuseppe Verdi.
Verdi is right.
And they wind up with a grand total of $210.
Thanks and good luck. Thanks and good luck from the DeSoto Plymouth dealers. That Max is really a sharp cookie. He knew the first names of everybody. I didn't even know the last name.
Oh, Groucho, the secret word is still hair.
Okay.
We invited some women dentists to the program tonight, and just before we went on the air, our studio audience selected Dr. Ileana Cosby. Her partner is a married man from the studio audience, Mr. Terrence O'Brien, and here they come. Folks, come on over here and meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome to You Bet Your Life, and if you say the secret word, you'll divide $100 in cash. It's a common word, something you always have with you. Now, let's see. Ileana Cosby, is that right?
Ileana. It rhymes with manana.
Oh, okay. Are you related to Bing?
No, my husband could be, because his name is Cosby, and we're always confused. His name is Fairfax.
Oh.
Fairfax Cosby.
Fairfax and where? Beverly?
The boulevard was named for him.
He was?
Yes, seriously.
Oh, really? Well, it's a mighty fine boulevard. And Terrence O'Brien.
That's me. Hello.
Well, I'm fine, and how are you?
I'm all right.
You're a dentist, Ileana?
I am.
Where are you from?
Los Angeles.
Born here?
No, in New York City.
New York City?
Yes.
How long you've lived out here?
I came here when I was 3 years old, and that was 25 years ago.
Well, you're still in your teens, according to that. And Mr. O'Brien, where are you from?
Austin, Texas.
Austin, Texas. Well, how long have you lived up here?
Oh, just a little bit shy of a year.
Mm-hmm. Well, how come you left Texas?
Well, I just wanted to see what it was like out here. All the money was, rich people.
What about those oil wells in Texas?
Well, I didn't have any.
Now, what kind of work do you do up, Mr. O'Brien?
Well, right now I'm a student, going to school.
Oh, you're just a boy, huh?
That's all, just a kid.
How old are you?
32.
You must be pretty near through high school by this time.
No, I'm going to school out here to learn something more. You know, I finished high school. I'm going to UCLA.
Mm-hmm.
Some of my boys are here.
No, those are girls from USC. What do you contemplate doing when you get discharged from college? I mean, do you have any particular profession you're going after? Or?
No, I haven't decided yet.
Well, I think by the time you get to 50, you ought to come to some conclusion. Now, Mrs. Cosby, aren't women, Doctor? You can call me Doctor, too. Huh?
Oh, certainly.
I was a doctor in a couple of movies I made out there. Matter of fact, I had a doctor of the movies after I got through with it. Aren't women dentists quite unusual?
No, there are about 20 in Los Angeles alone.
Well, if they're alone in Los Angeles, they're a lot better off than if they knew somebody. Mr. O'Brien, you're a married man?
Definitely. Really married.
You have any children?
I got 2.
Well, what are their names?
Well, the oldest boy, 3 years old, is Patrick Michael O'Brien, and the youngest is 18 months, and he's Dennis Terrence O'Brien.
He's a dentist, and he's 18 months? How did you meet your wife, Mr. O'Brien?
Well, it was, I'm Irish, and my wife was Irish, Dugan, and we were having a St. Patrick's Day party, and some of the boys were there, Shanahan, and Donahue, and a couple of the others, and...
Nobody named Schwartz?
And a friend of mine, Floyd Shanahan, we went out in the kitchen there and got in the batter, and we put a little bit of grog in it, just for the joke of it. And it seemed like the cakes didn't raise up right when they were baked. And my wife, to-be, she found out that I was the one that did it. She was the one who was baking the cake, and the cake flopped so bad, and so she slung it. I caught it.
She threw the cake at you?
She sure did.
She says, if I knew you were coming, I'd have thrown a cake. Is that it? And then that was...
Well, I realized the next day after I got well that...
What do you mean, you...
I was ill. The cake was hit me kind of hard. So I had a little headache, and I got better later on, and I realized it was kind of a nasty trick, so I went back and told her I was sorry. And
why were you sorry? I don't understand this. She threw a cake at you, and it hit you in the face?
Well, she... that's right, too. I hadn't thought about that.
I'd have it out with her if I were you, huh? Kids or no kids, huh? Now, Mrs. Cosby, what advice do you have for saving teeth, Doctor?
Proper brushing of teeth, good nutrition. Excellent nutrition is one of the first things to pay attention to. The lack of emotional tension, and seeing your dentist, of course, quite frequently.
How often?
At least twice or 3 times a year.
I see my dentist every week. He's going with my daughter. It's not helping my teeth any. As a matter of fact, it's not helping my daughter any. Well, it's been wonderful having you both here, and my thanks to both of you. And now we're going to proceed with our little game. Okay? Now, let's see how you make out in the race with $1,000. You've got to work together as a team and run your $20 into more than our other couples. I can't tell you how much our first couple won, but Fenneman's going to remind our listeners.
The Bachelor and the Spinster won $210.
Here we go. Let's see how high I can build you $20. You selected complete the names. Here's your first question. How much of the 20 will you try?
10.
10. What king was known as the Lionheart?
Richard.
Richard is right.
And we're on the way, Groucho. They have $30.
Pat, it's quite evident that your education hasn't been neglected. Remember, you're going for $1,000. How much of the $30 will you bet on your second question?
15 or 20? 20.
Shoot it.
20? What Western outlaw was known as the Kid?
Billy.
Billy the Kid is right.
Now they have $50.
Here's your third question. How much of the 50 are you going to try?
40.
What was the name of the Norseman who discovered Greenland? He was known as the Red.
Eric.
Eric the Red is right.
They're climbing now, Groucho. They now have $90.
You got $90. Here's your last chance to beat the other couples. How much of the 90 are you going to go for?
80.
Talk up, kids.
We'll shoot it all.
Shoot it all.
Shoot it.
All right, you're going to shoot it all. What gal who kicked the gong around was known as the Moocher?
Minnie.
Minnie the Moocher.
And they wind up with a grand total of $180.
Thanks and good luck from the DeSoto Plymouth dealers.
Well, Groucho, the secret word is still hair.
Hair.
Hair. We invited some deputy sheriffs to the program tonight, and just before we went on the air, our studio audience selected Audrey Lair. Her partner is a symphony conductor, Professor Peter Meremblum. And here they come. Folks, come on in here and meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome for the DeSoto Plymouth dealers, and if you say the secret word, you'll divide $100 instantly. It's a common word, something you always have with you. Miss Audrey Lair.
Yes, sir.
That's you, huh? And a symphony conductor and a deputy sheriff. Huh?
I'm a deputy
You're a
sheriff.
deputy?
Yes,
deputy. Where are you from, Audrey?
From San Francisco.
Professor Peter Meremblum. Are you any relation to Lovenblum? where are you from?
I'm from Yalta, Crimea.
You're in Alta Crimea? You don't look it. You look like a comparatively young man. Huh?
I am young man.
Professor, are you married?
Yes, sir.
How long have you been married?
25 years.
25 years. Well, at least you should know the score.
I do.
Well, you should after facing the music for 25 years. Would I be amiss, Audrey, if I asked you how old you are?
Not at all.
It wouldn't be fun talking to you if I were amiss. Well, how old are you?
28.
You're a mighty pretty girl, Audrey.
Hmm?
Can't get over it. I thought all the Western sheriffs were old and gnarled and chewed tobacco. Well, don't you even carry a 6-shooter?
Carry a .38 revolver.
You're pretty well heeled, eh?
Mm-hmm.
And very well ankled, too, I might say. Have you ever used your revolver, Audrey?
No.
Why don't you and I go out after the show tonight? I'd give you occasion to. I'm having walnuts for dinner. We can use your revolver to crack them. Fooled you, didn't I? You thought I went off half-cocked there, didn't you? Now, Sheriff, what do you do in your job? Do you ride a horse and catch bank robbers?
No, it's the supervision and protection of the female inmates in the county jail.
Oh, well, if they're behind the bars, what do they need protection for?
From themselves, from each other. Sometimes we get some pretty wild ones.
Well, while you're about it, could you save me a wild one? Now, Professor Meremblum, let's get back to you. What band do you lead?
I call California Junior Symphony Orchestra.
Is that a Dixieland jive outfit?
No, the junior orchestra consists of young people from 12 to 20 years old.
Oh. Firehouse 5 plus 110, is that it, eh? Now, Professor, I've not only heard of your orchestra, but I've also heard it, and I think it's the finest organization of its kind. You've done a remarkable job with those kids.
Thank you.
Do you have a professional name like Hot Lips Marenblum?
Sometimes they call me Pied Piper of Hollywood.
The Pied Piper? You mean all these kids are little rats? How many prisoners do you have in your jail, Audrey?
Pretty close to 200.
They must have some pretty hot gossip sessions down there, Ray. What do they talk about, Audrey?
Oh, pretty much the same thing that men do.
They ought to be ashamed of themselves. Sheriff, tell me, do men ever try to flirt with you?
Yes.
Even if you're wearing a uniform?
I guess it doesn't make any difference whether I have my uniform on or not.
Oh, I think it would make some difference. I recommend that you at least... Well, thanks to you two, I know all about music, and someday we must get together and sing the prisoner song. Now you're going to play You Bet Your Life. You beat our other two couples, and you'll get a chance at the $1,000 DeSoto Plymouth question. I can't tell you how much our other couples won, but Fenneman's off stage to remind our listeners.
The bachelor and the spinster are still ahead with their $210.
Here we go. Let's see how high I can build you $20. You selected uses of money. Here's your first question. How much will you bet?
10.
Talk up.
10.
10 is all right.
$10. What do you call money taken by the government March 15th?
Income tax.
Income tax.
Well, we're on the way.
That isn't what I call it, but no matter, huh?
They have $30 now.
Remember, you're going for $1,000 tonight. Now, how much of the 30 will you bet on your second question?
All right.
20.
All right. What do you call money you pay for speeding?
Traffic fines.
Fines is right.
They now have $50.
You now have $50. Here's your third question. How much of the 50 are you going to go for?
If we save 10 and bet 40, is that too much? Okay. 40.
How much?
40.
$40. What do you call money you give to the community chest?
Charity. Contribution.
Contribution is right.
You're now climbing to $90.
All right, you got $90. And here's your last chance to beat the other couples. How much will you bet?
Should we stick on the same system?
Up to you.
$80.
$80. What do you call money you receive from profits of a corporation?
Assets.
Now, think carefully. One answer between you now.
Profits received from a corporation.
What do you call it?
Well, it's net profit.
No, I'm sorry. It's dividends.
It's dividends.
So we went back down
You were
to $10.
flirting around with it, Audrey.
I didn't flirt enough.
Yes, and you wind up with $10.
Well, that's a shame.
Why didn't ask me? I will tell you dividends.
All right, we're going to give you another question.
Well, I didn't know you.
Groucho, I have an extra question here. I think we should let them go home with a little more than $10.
All right, we're going to give you one more question. If you get it right, you win $10. Now, think hard now. No help from the audience. Who wrote Beethoven's Fifth Symphony? Beethoven is right.
But they still wind up with an actual $10.
Wait a minute. From offstage, we are told that Mr. Marenblum said that he knew that answer.
I knew, but I thought it is privilege of lady to answer. You see.
Well, for being such a polite fellow.
Well, I lost so much money in stock market, I know it's different.
Now, what do you want, Professor? Do you want the question again about Beethoven, or do you?
Yes, I know.
All right, you're going to leave your bet the same.
$80? Here we go. What do you call money you pay when you're kidnapped?
Can I answer?
Yes.
Ransom.
Ransom? Ransom is right.
And they wind up with a grand total of $170. And that means the bachelor and the spinster with $210 get the chance at the DeSoto Plymouth Big Question.
Well, give me the question, Fenneman, and in just a minute we'll see if they're going to walk off with $1,000.
If your car doesn't operate smoothly and efficiently day after day, well, you need the kind of service that DeSoto Plymouth dealers pride themselves on being able to give. For the DeSoto Plymouth mechanics are trained in the latest factory servicing methods. Special courses held regularly throughout the year keep these skilled men up to date on the newest of servicing techniques. Factory manuals, factory-recommended lubricants, and factory-inspected parts help to assure you that every job done on your car is done right. And this kind of service is reflected in the way your car performs, the way it starts on colder mornings, the way it serves you and your family week after week. So for excellent car service, drive in wherever you see the sign of a DeSoto Plymouth dealer.
See you later, Audrey.
And here's the bachelor and the spinster, our winning couple.
It was the last thing I ever did.
All ready for the DeSoto Plymouth $1,000 question.
All right, here we go for $1,000. I'll give you 15 seconds to decide on a single answer between you, so think carefully and please, no help from the audience. Here it is. When Abraham Lincoln was assassinated, he was watching a play in Ford's Theater. For $1,000, what was the name of that play? All right, what is the answer you two have decided upon?
We don't know.
Well, I'm sorry, but that is not the answer. The answer is Our American Cousin. That's the correct answer, so that means the big question next week will be worth $1,500. Well, you lost the big money, but you won how much?
Well, these people won $210.
$210 in the quiz. Congratulations, and thanks to both of you, and to all of our contestants on the show tonight. Thank you.
Be sure to tune in again next Wednesday night at this time for the Groucho Marx Show, when the big question will be worth $1,500. And don't miss Groucho's television show, also presented by the DeSoto Plymouth Dealers of America. And remember, all dealers who sell DeSoto also sell Plymouth. Two great cars, both products of the Chrysler Corporation.
And when you drive in, tell them Groucho sent you. Good night, folks, and remember, just be sure to see your DeSoto Plymouth dealer.
Folks, here's a reminder from the National Safety Council. Twilight reduces visibility. Reduce your speed accordingly. You Bet Your Life, transcribed from Hollywood, is produced by John Goodell, directed by Robert Dwan and Bernie Smith, music by Jerry Fielding. This is George Fenneman, signing off for the more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers from coast to coast.
74 years ago, January 20th, 1950, Groucho Marx, You Bet Your Life, here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Tomorrow, we're going to hear an episode of a program called The Mayor of the Town. Lionel Barrymore starring in that program from 1948. Also, Willard Waterman as the Great Gildersleeve, The Jimmy Durante Show, Phil Harris and Alice Faye, and a quarter hour with Fibber McGee and Molly. So more comedy tomorrow here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Right now, let's head out 78 years ago, January 20th, 1946, and see what's going on with Fred Allen and his special guest, George Jessel. That's coming up next.
In a few seconds, faces and places in the news. But first, a reminder that the second war loan drive is now underway. This is a concern of all the people. $13 billion is a lot of money. It must be raised, and soon. Some of that money has to be yours. Buy an extra war bond every payday.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, we go back 78 years to January 20th, 1946, and see what's going on with Fred Allen and the story of Fred's life with him and guest George Jessel.
It isn't the mayor of Anaheim, Azusa, and Cucamonga, kid.
The makers of Bluebonnet Margarine and Tenderleaf Tea present the Fred Allen Show. With Fred's guests, George Jessel, Portland Hopper, Minerva Pius as Mrs. Nussbaum, Alan Reed as Falstaff Openshaw, the Tenderleaf Workshop Players, the DeMarco Sisters, and Al Goodman and his orchestra. And if you wonder who Senator Claghorn is, my name is Kenny Delmar. In the January issue of Cosmopolitan magazine, ladies and gentlemen, the so-called star of this program was selected as the Cosmopolite of the month. He's been called about everything else, but this month he's a Cosmopolite. And here he is, Fred Allen.
Thank you. Thank you, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And Kenny, that story about me in Cosmopolitan, written by H. Allen Smith, turned out quite well, I thought.
Yeah, you know, Fred, all of the magazines seem to be saluting people each month.
They're always saluting. I've noticed that.
Yeah, the Time magazine made President Truman the Man of the Year in January.
You know, I hear Time is making Mayor LaGuardia the Man of the Month for February. It's a short month, I think. The other magazines are still going full blast. The Hobo News is making Jack Benny the Tramp of the month. Pick is picking the Punk of the month. And the Poultry Journal may be... Well, Portland. Do you want to cut in, Portland? Kenny and I are talking about magazines saluting different people. Has anyone in your family ever been honored by a magazine?
Well, last year, the Police Gazette chose Mama as Miss Patrol Wagon for 1945.
Miss Patrol Wagon, huh? Is that... I'll laugh at it. At least you got me. Is that a camp stool you have with you there?
It's for Mama. She's standing in line.
Standing in line for what?
Mama doesn't know whether she's going to see the picture at the Roxy, get a ticket for Florida, or end up with a pair of nylons.
She doesn't know?
Mama just saw a long line and got in it.
Oh, well, that's the trouble with the country today, Portland. Half of the people are standing in line to buy things. The other half is standing in line picketing. But aren't you... Just a mild demonstration, if any. Just a mild. We work it up as we go along. When Mr. Jessel arrives, big things happen. But tell me, aren't you, Portland? Aren't you cold with those liquid stockings on?
No, I always mix in a little antifreeze.
Oh, with me. There's only one trouble with liquid stockings in the winter. If it gets hot all of a sudden, you've got a shoe full of stocking. You never can tell.
Last week, Mama drank some liquid stockings by mistake.
Drank some? Didn't it bother her?
For 2 days, she hiccuped Bobby socks.
Oh, I know a man who drank a whole bottle of liquid stockings accidentally.
Was he sick?
No, but he had to swallow a garter to hold his stomach up. That was the last time he saw Paris. And speaking of garters, when you've got to go to Allen's Alley, you've got to go. Remind me to give the writers more money. These women, they've got to go.
Have you a question ready?
A question? You bet. You know, this past week, strikes closed most of the meatpacking plants throughout the country, shutting off the country's supply of meat. And so our question tonight is, if you have been unable to get your quota, how have you been coping with the meat shortage?
Shall we go?
As the electric fan said when somebody turned it on, I think I'll blow. Well, here we are back in Allen's Alley, Portland. I guess the senator's home all right. His bullwhip is coiled up on the front step there.
Somebody now.
Now look, Senator.
Claghorn's the name, Senator Claghorn.
I know your name. You're from the South.
I'm a ding-dong daddy from Dallas.
You're a...
Yeah, on the radio. I'll never listen to thanks to the Yanks.
Now, wait a minute.
Now, speak up, son. What's on your mind?
Well, if I only...
Go ahead and talk,
Well,
son.
all I'm trying to do is...
Well, the war's over, son. Today, loose lips ain't sinking ships.
I'm just trying to get a word in.
Open your mouth, son. I've heard more conversation coming out of a knothole.
You're winded, hey?
Only momentarily, son.
Good. Now, I'll get in there. What about this meat strike?
I brought it up in the house. Pay attention now, son. I heard Claire Loose talk. Loose talk, that's a joke, son.
I know it's a joke. Not very good.
Carolina cackle.
I don't care.
That was a Birmingham belly buster.
Now, wait a minute.
You should be yucking, you ain't even smirking.
I don't even get a chance to smirk.
Hold up, son, you don't get it. You're from back country.
Now, look, Senator, what about this meat problem?
Well, the nation's capital will have plenty of meat for everybody.
Well, where is Washington going to get this meat?
Son, there's 130 million Americans.
Yes?
And today, every American is sending his beef to Washington. So long,
Well, the senator has a head like a pot roast. It brings back happy memories. Well, I hope Titus Moody is still up tonight. Now, let's see.
Howdy, Bob.
Your exhaust is working well, Mr. Moody. You feel all right? You look a little shaky.
Boy, was I stiff last night.
Drinking?
No. Somebody put starch in my bathwater.
You have a bathtub in the house?
No. Every Saturday night, I take a can of Dutch cleanser and lower myself down into the well.
In this cold weather?
No. During the winter, I don't slop around in the well.
Well, how do you keep clean?
Once a week, I go over myself with a racer and a whisk broom.
Well, how about the meat shortage?
Oh, that don't bother me none. I'm a vegetarian.
Well, haven't you ever tasted meat?
Only once. That cured me.
What happened?
About 20 years ago, a city fella come around selling rabbits.
And you bought one?
Yeah. He give me the rinky-dink.
The old R.D., hey?
Yeah.
Well, how do you mean?
He was dishonest.
Dishonest, huh?
Yeah, looked like a rabbit, cooked like a rabbit, tasted like a rabbit.
What makes you think it wasn't?
Well, for 2 weeks after I ate the rabbit...
Yes?
Every time I smelled catnip, I turned a somersault.
Mr. Moody still has that hang cat look, I must say. Oh, well, what will a knock at this door bring?
No.
Oh, Mrs. Nussbaum.
You were expecting maybe Weinstein Churchill?
Tell me, Mrs. N, has the meat strike bothered you?
I am in a dilemma.
Dilemma?
There is such a word.
Oh, yes. Yes, dilemma is a word. You might have read it someplace.
I'm only reading broken English.
Oh.
As I am speaking, so I am reading.
Oh, fine.
Why be deceitful? Who my fool
Well, I see your point, yes. I agree with you thoroughly. But what about the meat shortage?
Confidentially, we are having well in hand the situation.
You had some old meat stored up, did you?
Oh, no. My husband, Pierre, is buying a goat. A second-hand Billy.
A second-hand? A used goat. A live goat?
The first night we are locking him in the clothes closet.
I see.
During the night, the goat is eating the backs off of 3 of Pierre's union suits.
Oh, gosh.
The next day, the goat Pierre is killing and we are having for dinner.
Well, after eating the backs off 3 union suits, how did the goat taste?
Like flapjacks, but delicious.
Oh, And that brings us to the little vine-covered shanty at the end of the alley. A knock here should certainly start something.
Shout huzzah, scream adjectives flowery. Falstaff is here, the bard of the Bowery.
Well, Falstaff. Something tells me that you have new poems for us tonight.
Oh, indubitably. Have you heard? When they pinched Uncle Charlie, his excuse was a honey. He claimed he was in the bank just feeling the money.
No, I haven't heard that.
Or, the jukebox was playing I'm Confessing as she lured me into the delicatessen.
No. No.
How about this? Mother, please don't point father at me. He may be loaded again.
Now, wait a minute. Please. Tonight we are simply discussing the meat strike.
Precisely why I am here. I would bark some doggerel.
Well, what is your meat poem called?
Joy reigns supreme in the stockyards.
Uh-huh. How does it go?
Joy reigns supreme in the stockyards. When the meat strike was called through the nation, the cattle doomed to die in their pens gave the news tremendous ovation. A little ram frisked with his ewe. A Holstein kissed one of the steers. A big shaggy heifer danced round like a zephyr. A brindle cow mooed out 3 cheers. Yes, joy reigns supreme in the stockyards. Chicago's ne'er seen such a sight. A jubilant ox jumped up on a box and yelled, "Ah, there's good news tonight."
And as Bard Openshaw skulks to the wings, we turn to our melodic, Mrs. the 5 DeMarco sisters. Tonight, accompanied by Al Goodman and his poor man's Philharmonic, the DeMarcos sing Hubba Hubba from the new picture, Doll Face.
Hubba, 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 hello, Jack. Hubba, 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 just got back. Well, the hubba, 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 shoot some breeze, say whatever happened to the Japanese. Hubba, hubba,
I'll say, ain't you heard?
hubba, 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 we got the word. We got it from a guy who was in the know. It was mighty smoky over Tokyo. A friend of mine in a B-29 dropped another load for love. As he flew away, he was there to say, hubba, hubba, mop, mop. I got another mission, that's okay. And with your confirmation, well, I'll just say, hubba, 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 be on your way. And I'll take you later in the USA.
Friend of mine in a B-29 dropped another load for love. I hope you know what I'm talking about.
Well, I got another mission, and that's very okay. And with your confirmation, well, I'll just say, hubba, 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 be on your way. And I'll take you later in the USA. Hubba, 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 take you later in the USA.
And now, a helpful hint about the family table.
Whatever concerns the family table is important to us all, and here's a good example. I'll bet you can all bake good biscuits, ladies. Tender, light, fluffy, mouth-melting. And here's a spread just made to go on these super biscuits of yours. Bluebonnet margarine. For Bluebonnet gives you flavor, nutrition, economy, all 3. Bluebonnet has a delicious flavor, fresh, delicate, country sweet. You'll say no spread at any price ever gave you more delicious eating. Bluebonnet gives you proved nutrition, too. It's rich in food energy, rich in vitamin A. As for economy, you'll find Bluebonnet saves you real money. Why, it costs so little you can spread it on twice as thick. And remember, Bluebonnet margarine is a product of the makers of Fleischmann's yeast, a name that down through the years has always stood for quality. Be sure to ask your grocer for Bluebonnet tomorrow. Remember the letters FNE for flavor, nutrition, economy. Bluebonnet margarine gives all 3. Flavor, nutrition, economy.
That was just a few flakes from Let It Snow, played by Maestro Al Goodman and his racing form rhythm boys. Say, yes, Portland?
Shall I pile these letters here?
If you will, please. Those are the last of the Jack Benny contest letters. I've been up 3 nights reading them. You know, I'm one of the judges. And speaking of letters, Portland reminds me, could you get your pencil, please? I want to dictate a letter.
I'm all ready.
You're ready? We'll take this down. Mr. George Jessel, 20th Century Fox Studios. Dear Mr. Jessel, you are a rat, capital R. Signed, yours sincerely, Fred Allen. Get that off instantly.
Well, I thought you and Georgie were friends.
I'll never speak to Jessel again unless I happen to get a wrong number.
Gosh,
gosh, what happened?
Well, last week, Mr. Jessel was here in New York. You know, he's a big producer for 20th Century Fox Pictures now, and I received a note saying that Mr. Jessel wanted to see me. So I got all dressed up, got my cane out of Simpson's, and started for Mr. Jessel's office. When I arrived at the 20th Century Fox building, I found Mr. Jessel's office, a big nylon door, and I knocked on the door.
Come in, come in.
Georgie Jessel. Well, Georgie.
Excuse me, Fred. I'm on the phone at the moment. Hello, Legit Drugstore. This is Georgie Jessel speaking. I want 6 boxcars of Bromo Seltzer sent out to my studio in Hollywood right away. Okay.
Georgie, 6 boxcars of Bromo Seltzer?
It's for my new picture, Fred.
Bromo Seltzer?
Yes, I'm making a sequel to The Lost Weekend. It's called Saratoga Drunk.
Oh.
Laugh, son. What's the matter with you?
Saratoga Drunk sounds like a great picture.
Well, it's a new idea, Fred. An elephant drinks too much and sees 200 pink saboos.
Only in Hollywood could you possibly pick up 200 pink saboos. And Hollywood, I must say, has surely changed you, Georgie. Those clothes you have on.
Oh, well, this is my working suit, Fred. The shirt happens to have a pink dickie, but nobody noticed.
No. It's mink, isn't it? It isn't pink. It's a mink dickie. And it goes well.
That's right.
It goes well.
It says pink here, but I'll say mink anyway.
It goes well with that fur mandarin coat you have on.
Yes, this is genuine grizzly bear. Instead of the belt in the back, it has a big paw hanging down.
Oh,
this paw is spelled more, I think.
A big paw. But as you are, you Hollywood tycoons with your paws hanging down on the back, I suppose you're still living in that house out in Beverly Hills that looks like the Rose Bowl with Venetian blinds.
Oh, you should see it now, Fred. I've had all the grass dyed white.
You have white grass?
Yes.
Why?
Well, when the newsboy throws the paper on the lawn, the color shouldn't clash, you see? Fred, I've got lavender trees and a pink hedge and a plaid sidewalk.
Well, say, this riot of colors must be causing plenty of comment.
What comment?
Nobody even notices it?
In Hollywood, who takes off the dark glasses?
Oh, I see. Georgie, I wonder what would happen if one day everybody in Hollywood took off their dark glasses and all of the people got a good look at each other.
This is a horrible thought, Fred.
But tell me about your house, Georgie. You have a swimming pool, of course.
I have the biggest pool in Hollywood.
Well, how big is it?
Well, when you stand on one side of the pool,
yes,
from the other side you can hear voices yelling. When are they going to send us home? That's how big the pool is.
Well, you're a great success, Georgie. I saw your last picture of the Dolly Sisters. It was swell.
Well, what I did for the Dolly Sisters, Fred, I can do for you. As a matter of fact, that's why I sent for you.
Really?
I want to produce a story of your life.
The story of my life?
Yes. It'll be bigger than Darryl Zanuck's Leave It to Heaven. I had to get it in.
But Georgie, I know they have a big whip out there when you leave on the plane. But, Georgie, what actor could you possibly get to play my life? Don Amici?
No, Amici's tied up.
Really?
You know, with the telephone situation, he's sorry he started the whole thing off. No, there's only one man to play your life, Fred, and that is you.
You mean that I will be the star?
Star? Why, it's your life. Everybody else in the picture is just a stooge.
I'm the whole picture.
Yes, Fred, there's just one little thing.
Yes, George.
Well, now, you know how Alfred Hitchcock always sneaks into some scene in every picture that he directs?
Yes, you always see Mr. Hitchcock in the crowd trying to get into the automat with his nickel out or something.
That's right. Now, do you mind if I do just a little bit like that in your picture?
A little bit? Of course not, George.
You know, they'll just see the back of my head maybe in a barber's chair, or maybe I'll run past the camera with a pushcart fast. Nobody will see me. Suppose we just call that a producer's whim.
Well, anything you say, Georgie. Now, what is this story like?
All right, the picture opens with the 20th Century Fox signature music.
George Jessel presents
The Life of Fred Allen.
starring Fred Allen.
Say, that's wonderful, Georgie. Now what happened?
Now, as the story opens, Fred, you are 4 years old.
Now, wait a minute. Well, how can I play a 4-year-old kid?
Fred, our makeup man can do anything, really.
But I'm 6 feet tall. How can I be a kid?
You play the whole first scene on your knees.
On my my knees.
Yeah, we'll glue some shoes on your kneecaps, and nobody will know the difference.
Well, if I walk on my knees, my arms will be dragging on the ground.
All right, so we'll double up your arms, stick little false fingers on your elbows.
Well, after I'm made up, what do I do in the picture?
Well, the story opens in Illinois. Now, you see, Fred...
Wait a minute, Georgie. I was born in Boston in Massachusetts.
I know that, Fred, but we have an old Illinois set left on the lot from another picture.
What picture?
Home in Indiana.
Home in Indiana.
Now, Fred, if you're going to question every little
you're the
detail-
producer, Georgie. Go
All
on.
right, all right. The picture opens. It is morning.
To little Freddie Allen starting out in life, the world is a glorious adventure. He is on his way to school, happy, carefree. But see, he stops. The little tyke is worried. Is he late for school? By the side of the road, he sees a gaunt, lean man chopping logs. Hurrying over to this wood chopper, little Freddie says,
Sir, what is the time?
The time, my son, it's time for every American to stop and ponder. Our country is at the crossroads. Sit down on this log, son. I'm only a rail splitter myself. My name is Lincoln. Abe Lincoln.
Now, wait a minute, George.
I wrote a talk, but I'm going to make it history. My boy, I'd like you to hear it and tell me what you think of it. Sit down on the log, and I'll read it for you.
Look, now, wait.
70 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation.
Now, look,
conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition.
Now, wait a minute. Now, stop the music. Stop the music.
Now, what's the matter, Fred? What's wrong?
What's wrong?
Yeah.
This is supposed to be the life of Fred Allen. It starts out the whole thing is Abraham Lincoln.
Now, Fred, who is sitting there on the log listening to Abraham Lincoln? You. Now, the way the camera said, whose face is the audience? See, yours. And I want to tell you something. You were great.
I was great, yes. I didn't do anything.
You don't understand pictures, Fred.
Well, look,
Now, do you realize what America owes you? If you hadn't let Lincoln try out his Gettysburg Address on you, he might have gotten discouraged and torn up the whole business. Can't you hear people saying, why, if it wasn't for little Fred Allen, the Civil War might still be going on?
Now, but, George, if I was 4 years old when Lincoln was a rail splitter, today I'd be 125 years of age.
Who listens, who cares about such things in pictures? Maybe a couple of history professors who are sitting in the balcony, that's all. Or Joel Copperman. Now, pay no attention to it. Just wait till you see this next scene.
Am I in it?
Am I in it? He says, am I in it? It's all you, Fred. You're a young man, but you have taken to drink.
Drink?
Yes, you're living in Albany. It's apple country, and you're a cider fiend.
I'm full of cider, huh?
Yeah, you're full of cider. Now you have to make a decision. What will it be? Cider or success? As the scene opens, it's the waterfront. The camera's on a jug of cider in your hand. It's clutching that jug.
Will young Fred Allen be picked up by Cider Anonymous? See, he awakens, still in a stupor. He staggers up to a man standing next to a boat on the dock. Allen speaks.
Mister, what day is this?
What day is this, young man? Today is a new day in American navigation. My name is Fulton, Robert Fulton.
Now, wait a minute.
In a few minutes, I'm testing my steamboat, the Clermont. That's why this crowd is here right now. Folks, in a minute you'll see a miracle, a boat driven by steam.
Fulton's father!
All right, laugh, you fools, but I'll show you. I told you my boat would go today. I'll steam down the river.
Steam's up, Mr. Fulton, steam's up.
All right, cast those ropes to start the engine. Watch my steam.
Keepers, the Clermont's moving.
I told you it would. Anchors away.
Stop the music. Georgie, wait a minute.
Now, what's the matter, Fred? What?
Matter? This is the story of my life. I'm already 25 years old, and so far in my whole life I have spoken twice. I have asked 2 questions.
Fred, you don't understand pictures.
I don't understand pictures, but Georgie, if I only had some lines to say, at least I could pull the whistle on the boat.
A star pulls whistles on a boat?
But what is Robert Fulton?
Look, you don't get the significance, Fred.
I did something again?
Certainly you did. You see, when Fulton faced that mob of scoffers, he was about to give up. Yes. But he saw in the crowd one face that encouraged him. The camera closes in. This face that he saw, this is yours.
You mean that I'm there on the dock?
Why, if it wasn't for you today, there would be no Fulton fish market. There'd be no steam. There'd be no Turkish bass. No steam... Tailors would be pressing pants by hand.
But, Georgie...
Stop complaining, will you? Because the rest of the picture is all you.
Well, it's about time. Now, what happens now?
Next scene opens down south. You started a new life, Fred. You got a job.
Good.
You're on your way to rent a room. And as we fade in, you're walking up the stairs of an old southern mansion.
Sounds good.
Yes, Fred Allen has made a comeback. He has work. His eyes are bright. The world is before him. He knocks on the door of the old southern mansion. A kindly old man with snow-white hair opens the door.
Pardon me, sir. Have you a room to rent?
Come right in, son, and set yourself down. My name is Foster, Stephen Foster.
Now, wait a minute.
Sonny, I wrote a new song this morning, and I want to sing it for you.
Now, look, George.
Way down upon the Swanee River, far, far away.
Music. This is the last straw.
All right, now what?
What is this picture? The life of Fred Allen or a George Jessel cavalcade?
What do you mean?
Now stop stalling, Jessel. You were just going to put the back of your head in my picture. Now first the picture, you're Lincoln, then you're Fulton, now you're Stephen Foster. When do you show up as Florence Nightingale?
Who showed you the script?
Never mind. How does the picture end?
How does the picture end? Every picture fades out with a kiss.
Don't tell me you're a contortionist and you kiss yourself.
Now listen, Fred Allen, I'm the producer.
And listen, George Jessel, I'm the star. If this is the life of Fred Allen, I won't stand for it.
All right, I'll tell you what to do. Drop dead and I'll make your life a two real short.
Fine, well, I'll do that. Make an appointment. And now, Kenny, with a short talk on the American woman.
Ever since Priscilla married John Alden, the fame of the American woman has been growing. In spirit, beauty, and ability, she leads the world today. At home, above all, she is practical, especially about shopping. That's why she buys Tenderleaf T-balls in preference to all others. They are the largest selling T-balls in America because they are better in every way. In daily use with meals or between, they provide finer, richer, more delicious tea. It's famous for flavored Tenderleaf brand tea in tasteless filter paper packets. The crisp white filter paper is pleasant to see, inviting and dainty to handle. It's entirely insoluble, so your tea is filtered as it's being made. No specks in your cup, nothing but tea goodness and a world of quick comfort. When you want quick comfort, get it this easy way. One Tenderleaf tea ball in your cup with boiling water added. Yes, for every good, practical reason, ask your grocer for Tenderleaf brand tea ball.
Thank you, Kenny. And now, before we stack up the Tenderleaf tea and put the bluebonnet margarine back in the icebox, I want to thank Georgie Jessel for joining us tonight. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, next Sunday night, the Fred Allen Show brings you comedy. Drama.
But, Henrietta, you're too young to die.
Oh, yeah, hand me that peroxide.
And our guest will be...
that writer of hit tunes, Johnny Mercer.
Thank you.
This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
Well, they almost made it all the way to the end of the show without getting cut off. The Fred Allen Show, January 20th, 1946, 78 years ago. You heard the mention about liquid stockings. Do you know what they were doing? Let's see. They were looking at the problems, and according to Life magazine, rayon and cotton stockings, hot and sticky, the delicious nylons, all but vanished. So what they were encouraging women to do were to make up their legs, liquid stockings. And of course, that required something that many women are used to doing today. They would have to scrub, shave, and exfoliate their legs before they made them up. And they would some people would even put seams on their stockings, on their liquid stockings, with an eyebrow pencil. I mean, this is how nuts things were. But that was 1943 America. Alrighty, we move from Fred Allen to Abbott and Costello next in one of the episodes of their ABC program from 75 years ago, January 20th, 1949. That's next here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
Alert Americans will heed history's lessons. Throughout history, surprise has had a leading role in military disasters. Today, an enemy capable of surprise air attack could leave chaos in his wake. That's why you should be in the Civilian Ground Observer Corps, volunteering a few hours a week to guard our skies. Be a ground observer. Contact your local civilian defense office.
And again tomorrow on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, we'll have fun with an episode of Mayor of the Town starring Lionel Barrymore, The Great Gildersleeve starring Willard Waterman, the Jimmy Durante Show hosted by Al Jolson, Phil Harris and Alice Faye, and a short from Fibber McGee and Molly. Right now, Abbott and Costello. We will have a Sam Shovel mystery in this episode from 75 years ago, January 20th, 1945. The case of the secretary who was shot by sitting on her boss's knee, or she was on her last lap.
Hey, Abbott, what time is it?
It's time for the Abbott and Costello Show. We're on the air for ABC here in Hollywood.
Well, what are we waiting for? Let's go with the Abbott and Costello Show.
Yes, it's the Abbott and Costello Show, produced and transcribed in Hollywood for your listening and laughing pleasure, with chuckles with a carload and music by Matty Malnick. So hold on to your chairs, folks, for here they are, Bud Abbott and Lou Costello.
All right. All right, stop yelling. What are you shivering about?
Ay.
What's the matter?
It's cold here tonight, Abbott.
Oh, why don't you buy an electric blanket?
Well, I have one. They're kind of tricky. You know, I turned mine up too high, and all night long I kept dreaming I was a fried egg.
Well, why didn't you turn it over?
I couldn't. I always sleep sunny side up.
Oh, talk sense. What have you got there in that pocket of yours?
In that pocket of mine?
What is it?
What have I got?
Yeah.
Princess Elizabeth sent me a picture of her new baby.
Let me see it. Say, the baby is cute.
Yeah.
They say it weighed 8 pounds, Lou.
Yeah, weighed 8 pounds. And that will be the first pounds England ever raised without the help of the United States.
Costello, why don't you get smart? You're just an ignorant, uneducated... What?
Who's ignorant and uneducated? I'll have you know I've worked my way through Vassar.
Vassar is a girls' school.
Well, that will give you a rough idea of the kind of work I was doing.
I still say you're a dope.
Oh, you shouldn't say that. I was a smart kid, Abbott. When I was 4 years old, I learned how to say daddy.
At 4 years old, you could say daddy?
Yes, and when I was 12, I learned to say it to my father instead of my mother.
Costello, you need somebody to watch over you. Why don't you get married?
Not me. When you get married, there's always that honeydew.
You mean honeymoon?
No, honeydew. After the marriage, it's honeydew the dishes, honeydew the laundry, honeydew the house.
Get him out of here!
And there'll be much more of that terrific Abbott and Costello humor in a few seconds, after we hear a special message from this gentleman.
What are you so excited about?
Boy, did we have trouble at my house last night. Somebody stole my Aunt May's purse with all her savings in it. It was $87.
Well, that's a shame. Any low-down, dirty thief that would do a thing like that ought to be shot. Costello, you ought to find him and shoot him.
But I can't shoot my own uncle, can I?
Why doesn't your Uncle Mike get a job and stop loafing around the house, Lou?
Oh, he's got a job at the California Highway Traffic Department, and his plan will simplify transportation in Southern California.
Well, what is his plan?
Now, here it is, and it's very simple. Everybody listen. First, he's going to move Cucamonga to Azusa. Then he's going to move Azusa to Cucamonga. Now, suppose a man wants to go to Azusa, and he's in Cucamonga. He stays home, and he's in Azusa. I think that's very simple.
But wait a minute. Suppose a man lives in Cucamonga and he wants to stay in Cucamonga.
Abbott, who wants to stay in Cucamonga?
Well, look, when does he start to work with the traffic department?
Well, they're breaking him in now. He's stationed up on Mulholland Drive on Saturday nights. He's got a sound truck, and he hollers out traffic messages to the motorists to keep the roads open.
What kind of messages?
Well, like this. He hollers, all smoochers and knickers, pull over to the side of the road and let the married couples through.
Costello, your whole family are a bunch of stupid ignoramuses. They're all just like you. Did you ever go to college? Did you ever go to high school? Did you ever go to grammar school?
When he gets to kindergarten, have I got an answer for him?
Did you ever go to kindergarten?
No, and that's my answer.
That, Costello, is the reason you are so sadly lacking in intelligence.
Yes, but don't forget, what I lack in intelligence, I make up in the stupidity.
Yeah. Yes, but don't forget, stupid people don't live long.
Oh, yeah? My grandfather's 104 years old, and he's alive.
Was he the oldest member of your family, Lou?
I got an uncle on my mother's side. My Uncle Tom Zism is in Baltimore. He died at the age of 130.
He did?
130.
Do tell.
Last week, we dug him up, and you want to know something, Abbott?
What?
He looks better than you do right now.
Costello, that's a pretty old joke.
Yes, and he was a pretty old man.
Costello, I didn't know you came from a family of long livers.
Are you kidding? My brother-in-law, Joe Kirk, has a liver 30 feet long.
You know, it's been a long time since I heard that joke.
Yes, and that's a long liver.
I forgot about your family. You'd better start worrying about yourself, Lou. You don't look so good.
That's because I haven't been sleeping much lately.
What do you mean?
Every night I have the same nightmare. I dream there's a guy chasing me with a long, sharp knife. He's chasing me all the way up Sunset Boulevard to Santa Monica, over the mountains, right up to my house in North Hollywood. And that's been going on for the past 2 weeks.
Oh, that's terrible.
It is.
You must be completely worn out.
Well, I would be, but for one thing.
What's that?
Last night I found a shortcut.
Uncle Louie. Hey, Uncle Louie.
It's Abbott's nephew, folks. What do you want, Norman?
Uncle Louie, I heard you say you couldn't sleep, and I hope you get some sleep real soon, because when you don't sleep, you get irritable. And when you're irritable, you get mad at me. And when you get mad at me, you'll cut my salary. And when you cut my salary, I won't be able to pay my rent. And if I can't pay my rent, they'll evict me. And if I haven't got any home, then I'll be a bum. And you can't expect my wife to live with a bum just because you can't sleep.
Abbott, I'm telling you right here and now, your nephew Norman ain't going to amount to a thing.
Why?
I'll tell you why, because last week I got him a swell job. He wouldn't take it. He could have made a lot of money selling Santa and Nita long underwear at half price.
Santa and Nita long underwear?
At half price.
Well, how can they sell it at half price?
The factory forgot to put in a $2 window.
I understand that you and Norman were over to my house last week while I was away.
Yes. We built a new radio cabinet for your wife. And I took a bunch of wires and put them in a box, and I sealed it up tight. And when I tuned it on, I couldn't get any music, only loud talking. And for the past week, all I get is talk, 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 talk.
Louie, did my wife like the cabinet?
Now that you mention it, I haven't seen her since I sealed up the box.
Mr. Costello, I'm studying radio at nights at UCLA, and there's one thing that I don't understand about radio.
Well, friend, maybe we can help you. Abbott and I have been making our living on radio for the last 10 years.
Yeah, that's the one thing I can't understand.
Look, Abbott, now enough is enough. Now, I don't mind you putting your relatives on a payroll. But why do they have to come in and bother me?
Rockabye, baby, in the treetop. Here, Bud, have a cigar. Here, Louie, have a cigar. Rockabye, baby. Have a cigar, Malnick. Here, give all the boys in the band one, too. Rockabye, baby.
Hey, wait a minute. Hey, get a load of my nephew. Hey, Joe, why are you passing out cigars?
I just got a call from the wife, Bud. There's a patter of little feet around my house. Everybody, have a cigar! Rockabye, baby, in the treetop.
I got it. Hello? Just a minute. It's for you, Joe.
Thanks, Louie.
You're welcome.
Hello? Is that so?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
Goodbye. All right, give back the cigars. Everybody, give back the cigars.
But Joe, what about that patter of little feet around the house?
My wife just found out it's mice.
That's another one of Abbott's relatives. Abbott, why don't you keep those Republican relations of yours out of here?
Wait a minute. What makes you think my relations are Republican?
There can't be that many Democrats out of work.
Costello, why must you be so bitter towards my relatives? You should learn to be friendly with people. Don't you have any human interests?
Only when I go to a burlesque show.
What's the burlesque show got to do with human interest?
Well, I'm human, and that's my interest.
I mean, you should try to be more kind to people. Even animals and birds and bees love each other. Why don't you get closer to nature and become a nature lover?
I'm a nature lover.
Well, if you are, then why do you spend all your time chasing girls?
Well, that's my nature, lover.
Costello, why don't you stop chasing girls? You spend all your money on girls. This year, you ought to let me handle your money and invest it for you. Why, you might wind up with a corner on steel, selling cars. Or a corner on wheat, selling flour.
Yeah. A corner on Hollywood and Vine, selling apples.
Well, that only proves that you have no sense of values. Now, which would you prefer? A 6-foot blonde or a piece of valuable land?
I'll take the blonde.
But the land I'm thinking of is on Wilshire Boulevard and has a beautiful front.
The blonde I'm thinking of is on Wilshire Boulevard and has... You keep the land.
Well, hello, boys.
Well, if it isn't our little
Hiya,
secretary,
girl.
Viola Vine.
Who?
Viola Vine, our little secretary.
Well, Viola, you look gorgeous tonight.
Ah.
How about you and me taking a ride in my car after the show? I found a new place to park.
Really? A new place to park?
Mm-hmm, up in the Hollywood Hills.
A new place. You dummy. Why, every guy and his brother parks up in the Hollywood Hills.
They do not. I was up there last night, and I looked in every car, and there wasn't one guy up there with his brother.
Now, look here, Costello. I'll only go out with you on one condition. You'll have to treat me in the manner to which I'm accustomed. Before we park in the Hollywood Hills, you'll have to take me to a nightclub, buy me a bottle of champagne, a big juicy steak with mushrooms, and some crepe Suzettes for dessert.
Viola, when you go home at night, does your mother give you a bottle of champagne and a big steak smothered with mushrooms and crepe Suzettes for dessert?
No, but my mother isn't trying to park with me in the Hollywood Hills.
That's Stella, you and Viola.
All right, Viola, if that's the way you feel about it, you don't have to go out with me. I live just a stone's throw from the YWCA.
Oh, how do you know it's only a stone's throw?
Because every time I yell, "Hey, girls," they throw stones at me.
Now, Costello, I think you better forget about going out with me. You don't really love me.
I do, too.
Well, then why don't you do something to prove it, Lou?
Okay, I will. Viola, for you, I'll jump off the roof of this building.
You will?
I've got a better idea. To prove my love for you, I'll dive through a plate glass window. Wait a minute. I got a better idea. I know what I'll do. I'll go out in the alley in back of this building and let a bus run over me.
Costello, buses don't run in the alley. Why don't you go out on Sunset Boulevard?
Are you kidding? A guy can get killed out there.
Stella, you're going to get no place with Viola. She's a warm-blooded, affectionate girl. You just don't know how to treat a Lou.
No. Mr. Abbott is right, Costello. I have a very affectionate nature.
I haven't noticed it.
No? Well, come here. Costello, I'm going to give you a kiss that'll make you shake and shiver like a bowl of jelly on a frosty morning.
Hurry, hurry, hurry! Don't stand there, Rabbit. Start selling tickets. Hurry, hurry,
Now, while we take a 60-second intermission, we'd like you to consider this.
Ladies and gentlemen, all over the country, here's our singer, Hal Winters, with one of the top tunes of the country.
Until there are no stars to shine, there's no such thing as time I'll love but you. Until no songs to sing, there's no such thing as spring I'll love but you. You were sent from heaven just for me, and you are oh so heavenly. Until no moon above, there's no such thing as love I'll love but you. Songs to sing, there's no such thing as spring I'll love but you. You were sent from heaven just for me, and you are oh so heavenly. Until there is no moon above, there's no such thing as love I'll love but you.
Hey, Abbott, look at the fan letters I got this week. All of them are about my Sam Shovel Detective mysteries. Listen to this one. Dear Lou Costello, I love your Sam Shovel Detective shows. Your humor is so light and breezy. It rolls me over like water off a duck's back. I'm coming to see you tonight.
Mr. Costello, someone's here to see you.
Who is it?
A duck with water rolling off his back. Never mind him, Costello. What's your Sam Shovel Detective story about tonight?
Well, Abbott, it's a love triangle. A love triangle. I call it the case of the secretary who was shot while sitting on her boss's knee, or she was on her last lap.
Now you're talking. Let's do it.
I'm Sam Shovel, private detective. Last night I captured a desperate criminal, Muggsy Murray. He tried to get away, so I shot him in the leg. I visited him in the hospital this morning. The doctor had removed the bullet, but Muggsy had a black eye. Seems that during the night he'd taken a turn for the nurse. Or worse. I'm tired. I'm very tired. I see spots before my eyes. Ciros, Macambos, Slapsy Maxi. I'm seeing night spots. I look out my window. We're having typical California weather. Can't see a cloud in the sky. It's raining so hard I can't see the sky. I see a letter on my desk. I think I'll mail it. I open my stamp box. I still have some Christmas seals left. I hear a knock on the door. A sailor walks into my office. He's wearing bell-bottom pants. The sailor speaks.
Sam, I can get you a mink coat for half price. I can get you 50% off on a television set.
He was a wholesaler. Hello, Sam Shovel, private detective speaking.
Hello, Sam. Is Lieutenant Abbott there?
No.
Well, when he comes in, the next time you see him, tell him I'm going to knock his teeth out. I'll break every bone in his body. I'll cut him up in little pieces and I'll dump him in a wet barrel of cement and drop him in the river. Get that?
Who shall I say called?
A friend.
It was some crook that's got it in for Lieutenant Abbott. Must be one of the Lewis gang. Abbott worked on that case, but he really butchered it. Then he went on the Kelly case, and he butchered that. He butchered the Varello case. He didn't catch one crook, but he made plenty. After all, who makes more money these days than a butcher? I noticed that my office door is ajar. I think I'll close it. That's what I get for buying a door made out of jars. Next time I'll get a door made out of wood. I decide to sit in my armchair. I don't know why I bought that armchair. When I'm tired, it's not my arms I want to rest.
Hello, Sam Shovel.
It was my pal, Lieutenant Abbott of the Homicide Squad.
Sam, I'm tired. Last night I nailed light-fingered Louis. I'm going to send him to jail for 20 years for side-swiping a car.
How can you send a man to jail for 20 years for side-swiping a car?
He swiped both sides. Both sides of a new Hudson. Where were you today, Sam? I looked for you.
I went to the movie this afternoon.
But you went to a movie last night. Why did you go again this afternoon?
I had to. I had some popcorn left over from last night. Really, though, I didn't enjoy the picture. There was a guy and his girl necking. First she'd kiss her, then she'd kiss him, then he'd kiss her.
Well, wait a minute. Why should that annoy you?
I was sitting between them.
Sam, I've got a case in Texas that you could help me on. Do you know anything about the West?
Lieutenant, when I was 12 years old, I could pack a gun.
Were you a cowboy?
No, I was a shipping clerk in a gun factory.
Sam, this is a dangerous case. We're going out after a band of rustlers. Did you ever rustle?
Only when I wear taffeta shorts.
Can you ride a horse?
I ride like my pants were nailed to the saddle.
How do you do that?
I nail my pants to the saddle.
Sam, have you ever worked on a case involving a Texas bad man?
Yes, I captured the toughest guy in Texas. Tough Tex, the train robber. He robbed trains the hard way. The hard way. He lifted them off the track and took them home.
And you're just the detective to help me out on this case. Come on, Sam, we're heading for Texas.
I'm getting the horses tired. Lieutenant Abbott and I rode over to the Texas plains. Looking for them there rustlers. Pretty soon we came to some posts.
I'll marry you if you'll marry me.
I'll marry you if you marry me.
They were hitching posts. Suddenly I looked up, and there, standing beside me, was the prettiest girl I ever did see.
Well, welcome to Texas, strangers. Who might you all be?
I'm Lieutenant Abbott, not you. I'm Lieutenant Abbott of the
here, girl.
I'm Lieutenant Abbott of the Homicide Squad. This is my pal, Sam Shovel.
Sam Shovel? You don't mean Sam Shovel, the great detective? Well, Sam, welcome to Texas. And I'm going to give you a great big Texas kiss. There. Sam, boy, I'm the official Texas Welcoming Committee, and I kiss all strangers that enter the state. I aim to please.
Well, honey, your aim is okay, but how long do you think your ammunition will hold out?
Sam, there's the head of the rustlers, Cactus Pants Pete.
So you're Sam Shovel, the private detective, huh? The one that's come down here to bust up my rustling gang, eh? I want to warn you, Sam. The last 50 detectives that came here, I choked them. I choked them with my bare hands. You hear me? With my bare hands.
Goodness, how unsanitary.
Sam, he's a dangerous man.
You're right, Lieutenant. I'm the quickest draw in the West. They don't call me Cactus Pants for nothing. I got the best shooting eye in Texas. They don't call me Cactus Pants for nothing.
Well, partner, let's talk this thing over. Sit down.
I can't sit down. They don't call me Cactus Pants for nothing.
Well, Cactus Pants, I'm a-taking you to jail.
Oh, yeah? Take that.
Don't be afraid of him, Sam. Show him the stuff you're made of.
One more punch like that and the stuff I'm made of will be all over the ground.
Sam Shovel, I'm challenging you to a duel. Choose your weapons, man. Knives, shotguns, or pistols.
That's old-fashioned, Cactus Pants. We'll fight like Roy Rogers and Gene Autry do in the movies.
Good. Gentlemen, here's your weapons. Stand back to back. Now walk 5 paces. Turn and let each other have it. May the best man win. Ready?
Ready.
Ready.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yo, call everybody, darling. Yo, call everybody, darling. And everybody call darling.
All right, Sam, you win. Get him out of here.
Bud and Lou will wind up tonight's hijinks in just a moment, folks, after a little advice from this fellow.
Costello, before we sign off, let's tell the listeners who the people are that helped out to put our show on.
Yes, you're not kidding. You mean the people that put our show together? Tonight they nearly tore it apart.
Oh, that's all the more reason why we should tell the listeners who they are.
Okay, our writing staff is headed by Eddie Foreman with Paul Collin, Pat Costello, Martin Ragaway, and Leonard Stern.
And our producer is Charles
And
Van.
don't let's forget our band leader is Matty Malik, and our singer is Hal Winters, and we'll all be looking for you next Thursday at the same time.
Good night, folks.
Good night to everybody in Patterson. Good night, and we love you all. Good night to everybody. Good night, Mother.
Listen each Thursday night at this time for another great Abbott and Costello show, produced and transcribed in Hollywood. Be sure to stay tuned for the outstanding entertainment which follows throughout the evening on this ABC station.
75 years ago, January 20th, 1949, Bud Abbott and Lou Costello. Up next, we head for Wistful Vista, going back 88 years, and Fibber McGee and Molly. But first...
Americans have always been noted for their know-how. And you young men in search of a career, you can put this practical talent to excellent use in one of our nation's many engineering schools. At the present time, we need engineers. We need them to maintain our scientific and engineering superiority. So look to your future, to America's future. Plan now to become an engineer.
This is Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox in the middle of a comedy weekend here on this Saturday. Coming up tomorrow, we will have The Mayor of the Town, starring Lionel Barrymore, The Great Gildersleeve, starring Harold Perry, Al Jolson as guest host on The Jimmy Durante Show, Phil Harris, Alice Faye, and the Pony, and an episode of Fibber McGee and Molly. And speaking of which, that episode's going to be from 1954. Let's go way back before that, to January 20th, 1936, 88 years ago, as Fibber is running the drugstore.
The Johnson Wax Program. Good evening, everyone. The makers of Johnson's Wax present desperate drama of delirious dizziness and delectable ditties with Rico Marcelli's orchestra, Hugh Studebaker, and Marion and Jim as your foremost family of fantastic fabricators, Fibber McGee and Molly. Marcelli starts off the proceedings with Sitting High on a Hilltop, and sitting pretty, too. Sit, Rico. If you'd like to have your floors and linoleum shine like new without any work of rubbing or buffing, just try Glow Coat, the remarkable no-rubbing polish made by the makers of Johnson's Wax. Last week, Fibber just failed to make the grade as a dog trainer. But you can't keep a good man down. So this week, he's managed to talk himself into a job in the Wistful Vista drugstore. Here he is with Molly, talking to the proprietor, Bill Bottleworth.
Did I tell you I used to have my own drugstore, Bill?
No.
That's right, no. Yes, sir. Back in San Francisco. My slogan was, for fits and fevers, find Fibber's Friendly Pharmacy, the favorite of fashionable Frisco folks.
On Medicine Avenue.
Well, you might as well start right in, Fibber. I've got to go down to the bank for a while. You take the store over for me while I'm gone.
Who'll take you over, Mr. Bottleworth, when the store's gone?
Don't pay no attention to Molly, Bill. That's just her way. Shucks, I'll be glad to run her for you while you're gone.
Well, you can probably find anything you want while I'm away. The prices are all marked. I expect Mrs. Myrtle in to bring back some tooth powder she didn't like. You change it for something else for her.
Okay. I'll tell her if she don't like the tooth powder you give her, what she probably wants is a good paste in the teeth. In a nice way, of course. You run on along, Bill. I'll take care of things for you.
All right, Fibber. Well, I'll see you.
So long.
Well, McGee, you've buttered your bread, now lay in it.
You get behind the fountain, Molly, and mix me up a big soda whilst I kind of look things over here.
What flavor?
What flavors you got?
6 delicious flavors. Strawberry, raspberry, cherry, orange, lemon, and lime.
What's the idea? Come on, put on your Benny and get out of here. Shucks, I always did want to be turned loose into a joint like this. Hope we don't have no customers on account of it.
Oh, dear. Heavenly days, McGee. What if somebody wants a prescription? Tell him it's the wrong number.
No, sir. I can take care of them okay. I'm coming. Hello? Wistful Vista Drugstore. Fibber McGee, temporary proprietor.
After working only 30 seconds, he promotes himself.
Why? What say, ma'am? What would I do for warts? Nothing, ma'am. They never done nothing for me. Okay, ma'am.
McGee.
Oh, shucks. Why, that's all. You take things too serious.
I think you better put on one of them white coats there. Look more professional.
Okay. Hey, they are kind of cute, ain't they? Let me get my sleeve through there, will you? Oh, I had a dog, a musical hound, chase the little rabbits round and round. Oh. Little short into the sleeves, but looks okay, don't it, Molly?
What's that monogram on the sleeve?
WVDS, Wistful Vista Drugstore. Why?
Well, don't go outdoors carrying a broom.
Why not?
They might take it for Wistful Vista Department of Streets. Oh, McGee, here comes a customer.
Oh, for that. Oh, hello there, Geraldine.
Hello, Mr. McGee and Miss McGee.
Well.
Imagine meeting you here.
Yeah.
But then as Gerald always says, Gerald's my husband.
Oh, yeah.
Gerald says it's a small world. Gerald says the world is shaped just like a grapefruit and just as full of mean little squirts. Isn't that just too class? I mean, isn't it really?
Listen, if he's referring to me as a mean little...
Oh, I just came in for some mothballs.
Mothballs?
So Gerald says they're no good.
No?
Gerald says he sat up with a whole bag of them one night and never hit a single moth. Isn't that just too excruciating? I mean, isn't it really? Never hit a single moth?
Oh, dear, that's an old gag.
Well, Gerald says that's an old gag, but what does the moth care?
Well, I ain't here regular, Geraldine.
Now, don't you go to any trouble for me, Mr. McGee.
Well.
You tell Mr. Bottleworth that Gerald said he was going to complain about the hair tonic he got here, but he thought it wasn't worth raising a fuzz about. Poor old Gerald. He's losing his hair like everything. I mean, he really is.
Yeah?
He says he used to worry about a colic, but now he'd welcome a bullfight.
A bullfight?
Is that just too sick and positive? I mean, isn't it really?
Well,
Well, I must keep you from your pals, Phil.
Huh?
I mean, from your pills, pal. Well, so long, Mr. McGee. Diddle, diddle, diddle.
Oh, sure. Hey, Molly, where do you suppose Bill keeps his iced tea? And if you think I mean iced tea, you're...
Oh, careful, McGee. Here comes another customer.
Oh, sure.
I'll try and act like you knew something.
Okay, you call me Doc.
All right. Now, then, what was you saying, Dr. McGee?
I was just saying, my good woman, that we better order some more of that there hyposulfate of sympho-chiselin. You see, we have to compound that with the mercuiodide to make up a batch of this here oxide of petumium. Oh, hi, brother. What can I do you for?
I got a bad cold.
Ebony Days, you sure have. That's a beaut, brother. But what am I supposed to do? Lend you my hanky?
I want something for the cold.
Oh. You want something for the cold? Well, let's see. Guess we ought to have something in the store here to fix that up. What do you usually take, Bud?
Psyllium seed.
What?
Psyllium seed.
Do it again, Bud.
Psyllium seed.
What's he saying, McGee? I can't get nothing out of it but psyllium seed.
Neither can I. Have we got some seeds?
I don't know. Hey, Bud, can you hold off till I write to my congressman? Oh, here's some seeds into the box here. Look.
Heavenly days, McGee. Them are canary seeds.
My shucks, he don't know. Here's your seeds, brother. Just swallow a handful. It'll clear up that there cold like magic. Nothing like these seeds to bust the G-string onto a feller's guitar. Ain't funny, McGee.
Go on, mister. Swallow the seeds. They won't hurt you.
Yeah. Go ahead, Bud. Take a big mouthful. That's the stuff. Now swallow. You better get them brakes fixed.
Now see how well you can talk, mister.
Yeah.
Hey, Heavenly days. See what the canary seeds done to him?
He had a swell cold before, but certainly is a bird now.
Can you beat it?
Hey, brother. What's the matter with you?
I got a bad cold.
Hey, Molly, we got to give him something. What's this stuff in this bottle here?
This purple stuff? How should I know?
Well, let's give him a shot of it.
McGee, are you trying to kill the man? You don't know what that is.
Well, shucks, there ain't any skull and crossbones on it, is they?
Well, get on with it, McGee. Give the man his medicine.
Don't look powerful enough to me, Molly. I better mix some of this other stuff with it. You just sit down there, Mike Bud, and I'll take care of you right away.
Okay, Doc.
Bad cold. Let's see now. This stuff looks like it might be good for something.
Oh, dear, oh, dear.
And a dash of this here spirit's skimper skookum.
My.
A few drops of this here essence harpoducio.
Try the red stuff, McGee. That's real pretty.
This here? This tinctivio? Tinctivio. What in tunk of this tinctivio? Oh, well, it's medicine anyway. Maybe I better dissolve a couple of these pills into it.
McGee, them is for dogs.
I know. Bird dogs.
My. Will you look at it bubble, McGee?
Aye, jolly. Does look kind of effective at that, don't it, Molly?
Effective for what?
That's what we're going to find out. Well, here you are, son. Just drink her down while she's bubbling.
Look, McGee, he's drinking it.
Not bad, eh, Bud? How you feel now?
What? Look at him, McGee. What's the matter? Look at him shiver.
Hey, what's the matter?
Listen to it.
Can you imagine that? That's gratitude for you. Never even paid for his drink. Wonder what was the matter with him, Molly?
Must have been something he ate.
go further with our program, I want to tell you how easy it is to have your floors and linoleum always bright and sparkling without having to do any rubbing or buffing. Johnson's Glow Coat keeps your floors looking like new and saves you hours of work. This remarkable liquid polish dries in 20 minutes and shines as it dries without help from you. Glow Coat forms a protective shield of beauty over the floor surface, keeps off scratches and stains, and actually sheds dust. Ask your dealer for Johnson's Glow Coat, the easy-to-use, no-rubbing polish that gives brighter luster and longer wear. Look for the attractive yellow can with the name Johnson's Glow Coat. Back to the drugstore, where Fibber and Molly are making a passable imitation of two drugs on the market.
Shucks, there ain't nothing to this here drugstore business. I always says that...
Oh, here's the customer, McGee. Well, heavenly days, it's Sylvia.
Oh, hi there, Sil.
Hi, ma'am. How are you, boss? Y'all working here now?
Who, me? Yep. I got Bill Bottleworth helping me.
I thought Mr. Bottleworth done owned this drugstore, boss.
What's that, silly?
I thought Mr. Bottleworth done owned this old drugstore, ma'am.
Well, he does in a way, Sil. Well, what can I do for you, Sil?
If you know anything about horses, boss.
Horses?
Horses. Sylvia said you come in here to get McGee to bet on the races again.
No, ma'am. No, nothing like that, ma'am.
And then what's all this about horses, Sil?
My horse, he got the heaves, boss.
Well, take him to a horse doctor, silly.
Sure.
Yes, ma'am, I would only Mr. McGee say once he knows all about horses, ma'am.
Did you say that, McGee?
Well, well, shucks, all I said...
Silly. All McGee knows about horses you could put in your eyes. He thinks they're all born with jockeys on their back.
They ain't so, is they, ma'am?
Don't let her kid you, Sil. Oh, I'd like to take a look at that horse of yours. I used to be a horse doctor with the 44th Cavalry.
You mean you were all vet?
Where is the nag, Sil?
He tied up right outside here, boss. Can y'all come out, please, sir?
Oh, no, I can't come out. I can't leave the store, Sil. Bring him in.
McGee, what on earth are you...
Sure.
Y'all say bring him in, boss? The horse?
That's it. Who'd you think I meant? Haley Selassie's cousin?
Not so loud, McGee. This is Italian bomb week.
Go on, Sil. Bring the horse in.
Yes, I'll bring him out
McGee, do
in,
you mean
boss.
to say that you're going to bring a horse in here?
I wonder who this is.
Hello there, friends. Where's the proprietor? You the proprietor? Well, have a cigar. Have two cigars. Fine day, isn't it? And you, madam, why, you're looking younger every day, madam. I'm going to enter you in a baby contest next week. Yes, sir, folks.
What do you want, son?
Well, I'll tell you, Chief. I have here one of the finest products on the market, Gloco. It's the world's greatest. No rubbing, no buffing, floor polish.
What fails?
Just a mite, Bud. I'll talk to you later. There's a customer coming in.
All right, sir, all right. There's no
bring
hurry,
the
no
horse
hurry
right
at
in,
all.
Phil. Bring him right in. That's the stuff.
G.O.D. A horse in a drugstore.
Come on. Get up there. Whoa. Come on. Get up there. Whoa. That's it.
Heavenly days, McGee. Wait till Mr. Bottleworth
Oh,
comes
shucks,
back.
Molly. This here's service. Service to man or beast. That's our motto. What's the matter with him, Sil? I don't know, boss. He got the heaves or something. What's the symptom? Well, he don't breathe good, boss. He breathes only on one side, boss. Yeah. Thoroughbred? Yeah, Mammy was a thoroughbred, boss. Thoroughbred Beatrice. Horse, boss. Well, let's see his teeth. Oh, there. Easy now. Steady.
What's his name, silly?
Winnie.
Winnie, that's a girl's name.
It ain't what he is, ma'am. It's what he do. He whinny all the time, ma'am. Steady there. Oh. Hold him steady there now. Now mix up.
Another customer, McGee. They probably got a sick elephant.
Now, how do, ma'am? What can I do you for?
Are you the proprietor?
What's that, ma'am? I didn't quite get it on account of your accent.
I say, are you the proprietor? She wants to know, are you in charge here, McGee?
Oh, yes. You betcha, ma'am. That there hiccup of yours kind of threw me. What can I do for you, ma'am?
I have the hiccup.
No. Honest?
McGee. Please. Oh, I've suffered terribly for hours. And hours. Isn't there something you can...
Oh.
Good heavens. A horse? A horse in a drugstore? How grotesque.
Oh, I don't know, ma'am. Folks comes into a drugstore with everything. You with the hiccups and the horse with the heaves.
Yeah, horse wanted medicine, boss.
What say, Sil?
I say Winnie wanted a little medicine, boss. And I want a remedy for these terrible...
Whoa! That was the honey, that last one said.
Good heavens, what sort of a...
Shut up there, you old fool.
What?
No, not you, please, ma'am. Excuse me, ma'am. I'm talking to the little horse here. Well, now, I'll tell you, folks, that just kind of calm yourselves for a mite, and I'll fix you both up. Ladies first, though.
What do you know about hiccups, McGee?
Why, shucks, I read a book on them once. How to Handle the Horrible Hiccup by Fibber McGee. Copyright 1911. I remember chapter 12 on the different types of hiccups. Now, first... Thanks, ma'am. That was the Wellesley, or the refined type. Then there was the Coffin Lion, or the MGM type. Oh. Thanks again, ma'am. Number 3 was the regenerated, static, or the NBC type of hiccup. Oh, shut up there, Winnie. I'm talking.
McGee, will you do something for the lady's hiccups?
Oh, yes, indeed. How can you let me suffer like this when...
Now, just take it easy, ma'am. I'm just kind of wondering about the best treatment for your type. I think you got number 9, the metropolitan or mezzo-soprano type. Did you ever try patting your head and rubbing your stomach at the same time, ma'am?
Sir? Rubbing my... and patting my...
That's a rough idea.
I always heard that slapping on the back was the best way, McGee.
I cured myself with a hiccup once, boss. How'd you do it, Sil? I just sobered up.
I beg you.
Now, I think if you really want to get rid of them, ma'am, that you got to get your mind off of them. I'll tell you what. Now, ma'am, I'm going to fix your hiccups. I'll scare you.
You what?
Scare you.
Oh.
Yes, now. 1, 2, 3, boom.
Success.
Yeah. Oh, there. Oh. Say.
Winnie show getting restless, boss.
That gives me an idea. You got a pin, Molly?
A pin?
Pin, boss?
A pin?
Here's the pin, McGee.
Thanks, Molly. Now, get ready to get cured, ma'am.
Oh, anything but do hurry.
Yeah, okay. Now, here we go.
McGee, what are you going to do?
Listen, Molly. I'm going to sneak around behind the horse, stick him sudden-like with the pin, and when he jumps, that'll scare the heaves out of him and the hiccups out of her.
All right, but you be careful now.
Betcha. Now, hold on to the horse, Sil.
Yeah, sir, but
I'm sorry, Winnie, but science demands it.
How
come you stick a pin in that little old horseball? Well, sir, folks, I guess it worked. The hiccups gone, sis?
Why, really, I believe they are. Yes, I do believe they are.
Well, no fair trying to hiccup, ma'am. Yeah, shucks. Once I start out to cure the hiccups, I never fail. Why, mind the time once down in Louisville, I... That's right, now I got it. Well, can you imagine me getting the heat?
Right here, I'd like to say that once your kitchen linoleum is protected with a shining glow coat polish, your floor scrubbing days will be over. Dust and dirt can't stick to the beautiful polished surface. Stains and foot tracks can be easily wiped off. Even though you may be discouraged about the way your floors and linoleum look today, even though they're dull and lifeless, you can quickly make them shine like new again in a few minutes' time. Just pour a little glow coat onto the floor. Spread it lightly over the surface with a soft cloth or the long-handled glow coat applier. Let it dry for 20 minutes, and you'll hardly believe your eyes. Your floors will sparkle with new life and beauty, and they'll stay clean and shining for weeks at a time. And remember, you save as much as 1/3 by buying glow coat in the larger size can. I might mention right here that the drugstore victim of the medical McGees was Mr. Tommy Tucker, the famous animal imitator and freak voice expert, whom you've probably heard many times in radio programs and in the Silly Symphony and other movie cartoons. Tommy Tucker. Oh, by the way, Mr. Marcelli wants me to tell you that he's working day and night, carefully considering the thousands of manuscripts submitted in the Amateur Songwriters Contest. We hope to be able to announce the winner's name on our program of February 3rd. And so, until next Monday night at this same hour on this same coast-to-coast hiccup, let me remind you that just as the best housekeepers use Johnson's Wax and Johnson's Glow Coat to keep their houses clean and shining, so the most particular car owners keep their cars sparkling with Johnson's Auto Wax and Cleaner. This is Harglow Wilcox putting on his Glover coat to glow home. Oh, me too. Good night. is the National Broadcasting Company.
They came a long ways in 20 years, didn't they? It was Fibber McGee and Molly from 88 years ago, January 20th, 1936. Tomorrow, we will have The Mayor of the Town, starring Lionel Barrymore, The Great Gildersleeve, starring Willard Waterman, Al Jolson hosting The Jimmy Durante Show, The Phil Harris Alice Faye Show, and another episode of Fibber McGee and Molly from 1954, one of their quarter-hour shows. Now we will wrap up this Saturday edition of the program in a moment with an episode of Lum and Abner.
Every day, as the war against Japan increases in intensity, the need for waste fats and greases grows more critical. Here's one department where the enemy may be superior unless you help make up the difference from your kitchens. Save all waste fats and greases, no matter how discolored. Keep a clean can in which to strain them and take them regularly to your butcher. Remember, for every pound, he'll give you 4 cents plus 2 extra meat points.
Now we wrap up this Saturday Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox with an episode of Lum and Abner that goes back 82 years, January 20th, 1942, as, they try to figure out how to settle up this business with the Jot 'em Down store.
The makers of Alka-Seltzer bring you Lum and Abner. Say, folks, I don't know if you know it or not, but our friend Abner has a reputation of having one of the neatest and most comfortable homes in all of Pine Ridge. Of course, it's quite old-fashioned in many respects, but in one way at least, it's as up-to-date as the most modern apartment on Park Avenue. For in Abner's home, you'll find a package of dependable Alka-Seltzer tablets. You see, folks in big cities and little towns, in all walks of life, have learned the wisdom of always keeping a package of Alka-Seltzer tablets handy in their home. Now, there's real peace of mind that comes with having Alka-Seltzer handy because then if a headache comes along to make life miserable, if acid indigestion causes discomfort, or if cold distress makes you feel wretched, it's so easy to get quick, pleasant relief the Alka-Seltzer way. Now, if you're one of the few who don't know how promptly and pleasantly Alka-Seltzer can bring welcome relief, why put off trying it any longer? Remember, you can get Alka-Seltzer at all drugstores, either by the package or by the glass at the soda fountain. And now, let's see what's going on down in Pine Ridge. Well, the old fellows almost patched up their differences, but an argument split them wide apart again. Lum stomped out of the store carrying an armload of books out of what he claims is his half of the library. And much to Abner's dismay, one of those books was the hiding place for the paper which Lum signed last week giving Abner ownership of the store and bakery. Lum, of course, didn't realize the paper was in there. As we look in on the little community today, we find Lum sitting in his half of the library. Abner is running the Jot 'em Down store, and Grandpappy Spears has just entered. Listen.
Yeah, well, howdy.
Oh, howdy, Grandpap. Come on in.
Yeah, don't mind if I do. Well, howdy, Lum. I never seen you sitting there. Proud to see you back in the store. I ain't back in the store, Grandpap. I'm in the Eddard's Rent-Out Books Library. I've went in partnerships with myself. That way I got a partner I can trust.
You better step over here and get some groceries or something, Grandpap. Don't pay for a feller to be seen in the wrong kind of company, you know.
Just a minute, fellers. I thought this fuss and squabble was all done for. I figured that when Lum taking them books home the other day...
Grandpap.
Huh?
Come on back here in the feed room. I want to show you something.
What do you want to show me?
Oh, something important. You want to see it, I know.
Well, if it's that important, all right.
Well, come on then.
Better keep your hand on your pocketbook, Grandpap. A lot of pickpockets around these days.
Don't pay no attention to him, Grandpap.
You got any money left when you get through there, Grandpap? I've got a good book in my library I'd like to rent you called The Thief of Baghdad. Awful interesting. Tells what happened to a feller that steals stuff.
Yeah, it sounds interesting, Lum. Grandpap, come on back here. You're going to me to the feed room so that I can show you something I said.
Yeah, that's right. I might even write a sequel to The Thief of Baghdad for you, Grandpap. I'm going to call it The Thief of Pine Ridge.
Don't listen to him, Grandpap. He's been making them smart remarks all morning. Come on. Now get back clean here where he can't hear you.
Well, what is it you want to show me, Abner?
What? Don't talk so loud. I ain't got nothing to show you.
Ain't got nothing to show me? You
No,
said you did.
I know it. I had to do something to keep you from talking about them books that Lum taking home with him. You might now ruined everything.
Well, it was already ruined, weren't it?
Why, no.
That paper he signed giving you all the store and bakery was hid in one of them books.
Yeah, but he ain't found it out yet. He don't know he's got it.
Oh, you don't?
Why, of course not. That's why I wanted to hush you up about it.
Well, I do know. Well, I sure figured he'd found that paper by this time and tore it up and got himself back in the store.
Oh, no, he ain't back in yet. Only reason he's sitting around over here, I think, is trying to get a chance to sort that desk over there. He thinks I got it hid there. He don't know he's got it.
Well, I'll be dog. That's sure a gooder known Lum, ain't it? Here he is hunting around here for something he's got over there at his own place and don't know it.
Yeah. Don't you let him know nothing about it, too, now.
Oh, no, I won't breathe a word of it.
Wait a minute. Who's that coming in the store? Huh?
Oh, that's Squire Skimp, ain't it?
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't want to wait on him, I know that. He just wants to get some groceries on a credit, and he's already run up such a big bill, I know he can't never pay it.
I wouldn't sell him nothing for cash.
Let's just stay back there in the feed room when he goes out. I won't wait on him.
Yeah, checkerboard ain't back here, is it?
Doggy, wait a minute. I believe it is short or that's a good idea, Grandpap. You and me ain't had a good checker game, and I don't know how long.
Well, howdy, Long. Yeah, howdy, Squire. Welcome to the Eddards Rent Books Out Library.
Well, that's a new title, isn't it, Lum? I thought this was the Pine Ridge Free Public Library.
Well, that half over there is. My half here is a new rent library.
Well...
Got some awful interesting books in here, too, Squire. Would you be interested in renting a few?
No, I don't believe I would, Lum, no.
I got Elsie Densmore Makes the Grade, and Brave and Bold, and Gilbert the Boy Trapper. Grannies, I'm glad that book's in my half of the library. Have you read Gilbert the Boy Trapper, Squire?
No, I don't seem to have time to keep up on the new books, Lum. I just dropped in to pick up a few groceries. Whereabouts is Abner?
Now, if you mean Mr. Peabody, he's in the feed room with Grandpap. More than likely trying to swindle Grandpap out of something.
Oh, no, not Abner, Lum. He isn't smart enough to swindle. He's much too honest a person, Lum. Much too honest, yeah.
But look what he done to me. Took the store and bakery right away from me.
Well, now, Lum, Abner didn't do that to you. You did that to yourself.
Done it to myself?
Why, yes, you signed that paper of your own free will and volition. Nolo contendere caveat emptor.
Huh?
Those are legal terms, Lum. It means that, nolo contendere caveat emptor.
Oh, yeah, well, natural. I never heard you at first. But I still say he didn't need to keep the paper. I just read it out in a joking way. He knows it.
Yes, I know that, Lum.
And I can tell by the way he guards that thing, he aims to keep it the rest of his life.
Well, you can't blame him for guarding it, Lum. That's the only piece of evidence that he's got. Without that paper, he has absolutely no legal or moral claim to your half of the business.
Yeah, but he's got it. So there ain't nothing I can do.
Well, you know, Lum, if I were you... can Abner hear us?
Oh, no, he's back there with Grandpap. He can't hear.
Oh, good. If I were you, Lum, I would just get hold of that little piece of paper and destroy it. That's what I'd do.
Well, what do you think I'm hanging around the store here for? But the little varmint guards it like it was a barrel of gold.
He does,
Every time he steps out of the store, he runs right back in to see if I'm looking for it.
Mm-hmm. Well, there might be other ways, old Lum. You know the old saying, where there's a will, there's a way. have you any idea where Abner has hidden the paper?
Well, I ain't sure, but I reckon it's in that drawer over there where he keeps all the bills and stuff.
Over there in the desk, huh?
Yeah. I know that's where he puts everything else, so it must be there.
Mm-hmm.
But he's always there, too. Never takes his eye off of that desk.
Well, around, say, 12 o'clock at night, Lum, I don't imagine he's there, is he?
Oh, no, of course not. He's home in bed at that time. Wait a minute. Oh, you mean I ought to come down here then and break in, huh?
Well, you don't exactly have to break in, Lum. You still have your key to the store, don't you?
That's right, ain't it? Yeah, I got a key over at the place.
Why, I certainly have.
I don't know, Squire. That seems sort of unhonest, coming down at night that way.
Well, Lum, you said yourself that half of this store and bakery rightfully belongs to you. So you would only be taking what's already yours.
Yeah, I reckon so.
And you know and I know, Lum, that you and Abner belong together. You've been partners for a long time, and that's the way you should continue, as partners. But here's this one little piece of paper keeping you apart, breaking up a beautiful friendship. Lum, it's your duty to destroy that piece of paper.
Granny's, you're right, Squire. Yeah, I never looked at it just that way before. I'll do it. Granny's, I'll do it tonight, at midnight. By midnight.
That's a time, Lum, good for you.
Fact is, I think I'll go home right now and make sure I got my key.
Yes, yes.
Abner most always done the locking and unlocking, so I got in the habit of leaving my key at home. I'll see you later, Squire, and I don't know how to ever thank you for what you just did for me.
Oh, tut-tut, Lum, tut-tut. Always glad to help an old friend.
Well, thanks again, Squire. So long.
Yeah, so long, Lum. Abner? Abner!
Abner can't come right now, Squire. It's his move. He's busy.
Well, I'm a busy man myself, Grandpap, and I'm in a hurry.
Yeah, all right. He'll be right out.
Yeah, what is it you want, Squire?
Why, I just want to order a little list of groceries, Abner. Just a few dollars worth.
A few dollars worth? On a credit, I reckon.
Well, yes. Now that you mention it, I guess I will have to ask you to put them on the books, Abner. Seems for some reason or other I must have come away without my wallet this morning.
Yeah, it seems you always come away without that.
Squire, I'm sorry, but I can't let you have no groceries.
What? What's that?
No, sir, I just ain't gonna do it. Until you pay up what you already owe, Squire, why, you can just buy your groceries some other place.
That's the time, Abner. That's the time.
Well, I'm very sorry to hear you talk like that, Abner. Yes, it grieves me. And I know that this information would have been very valuable to you, too.
Information? What information?
Well, it's, something that vitally affects you in the store. Something that will change things around here a great deal unless you find out about it in time.
Change what things?
But, of course, now that you and I aren't doing business anymore...
Well, now, wait a minute, Squire. I think maybe I can let you have this one order.
Don't do it, Abner. Don't you do it.
Hush up, Grandpap. Just stay out of this now. Yeah, you can have the grocery, Squire.
Spoken like a true friend, Abner.
Sassy friend. Sassy friend.
Now, what's the information, Squire?
Well, by virtue of a bit of expert detective work, I have discovered that Lum is going to break in this store tonight.
Break in?
Well, he's got a key, so he'll just walk in, but nevertheless, he's planning a little robbery.
Robbery? Are you sure about this, Squire?
Oh, yes, indeed, Abner, no doubt about it. At midnight, Lum is going to come in here, and he expects to find that piece of paper that he signed.
Aye, doggies, he's going to come in here and find something he don't expect. Let me get that phone, Grandpa.
Yeah, who you going to call?
I'm going to call the town marshal, Uncle Henry Lunsford. Aye, doggies, we'll be waiting for him.
Well, what a surprise is in store for Lum at midnight tonight. But here's something that's no surprise to most of you Lum and Abner listeners, for you know that your bodies require a certain amount of vitamins A and D each day. You know, too, that these short, dark days of winter, along with fewer green vegetables on the table, increase the green D. But do you know, what the required amount is, and do you know how you can be sure you get it at a nominal cost? Well, here's the way. Take one-a-day brand vitamin A and D tablet every day. Now, that's the way to be sure, because each one-a-day vitamin A and D tablet is guaranteed by the makers of Alka-Seltzer to contain the same amount of vitamins A and D as a full fifth of an ounce of cod liver oil, meeting minimum United States pharmacopoeia standards. An amount of vitamins A and D in excess of your minimum daily requirements. Now, what's more, one-a-day tablets are easy and pleasant to take. There's no fishy, oily taste, no aftertaste. Remember, one tablet a day is all you take to get this important vitamin protection. So ask your druggist for a package of convenient-to-take, economically priced, one-a-day brand vitamin A and D tablets right away. And say, while you're at the drugstore, don't forget to take home a package of Alka-Seltzer tablets, too,
There you go, Lum and Abner. Looks like Abner's sketching some things up for Lum tonight. 82 years ago, January 20th, 1942, on this Saturday Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Tomorrow, the mayor of the town, the great Gildersleeve, Al Jolson in for Jimmy Durante, Phil Harris, Alice Faye, and Fibber McGee and Molly, one of their episodes from 1954. We'll talk with you tomorrow. Have yourself a great Saturday, and we'll see you on Sunday. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.